wow.
How are you guys doing?
Great. You?
I'm doing pretty good.
Popping. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Good. Welcome to my home. I'm Dr. Mark Hatala, and these are some of my outstanding students. And today we're going to be talking about our senses. And so if we had to lose one of our senses, which one would we choose? So there is sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch.
Yeah.
So, but why don't we get started with introductions? And Zach, if you could get us started.
Yes, I'm Zach.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
I'm Maddy.
I'm Will.
And I'm Annie.
Outstanding. So, who would like to go first? If you had to lose a sense, which one would you be willing to lose?
Hang on. I feel like we need to establish a ground rule.
Let's hear it.
If we lose our sense of smell, do we also lose like 90% of our taste? Is that a real thing?
I've taken some shots before where I've tried to plug my nose and you still taste that. You still taste it.
So like I don't have like a super 90% of the time I don't have a sense of smell. And like not because I'm like just constantly stuffy or anything, but just because like I just don't smell things. But like I love caramel and food, and like I definitely taste things for sure. Food is like one of my favorite things in life.
Yeah.
So these two anecdotes suggest that might be a myth.
Yeah. But there have been a lot of studies about how, like, when you truly lose your sense of smell, like, you also lose your sense of taste, and, like, how they're very interconnected, you
Right,
know?
but they're processed in the same area.
Yeah.
Do you know, to follow up, though, on the caramel thing, I teach this class on marketing, and one of the things they were developing was, it was essentially a power bar before they had power bars. But one of the things that people like is like toast, because there's an initial resistance to bites, that crunch, and then the butter makes a good mouthfeel with that too. So it has like a finish that's the right way. So with that established, Zach, why don't we get started with you then? What of your senses would you be willing to part with if you had to?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's pretty clear. It has to be either smell or taste, just because they're both about sensing, like, chemical composition, so there's redundancies built into it. So probably taste, just because I think it's less dangerous than losing your sense of smell.
Sure.
That's a good way to think.
Usually you've, like, examined something before you put it in your mouth.
Or, like, that's why we have, like, smoke detectors and stuff, because you wouldn't be able to smell the smoke. Very good.
I'll go next
Please,
because
Annie, yeah.
I would also lose my sense of taste. I think because I feel like it's the one sense where you can control the most, like what goes in your mouth,
That's
at least
true.
for the most part.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and I mean, like maybe it'd be easier to eat healthy if you can't taste
I
thought about that.
But what if you're like a texture person?
I feel like that would make it
No,
so
you
much
do still
worse.
have the texture, though,
No,
couldn't
but
you?
like what if you're like the textures are what
That's a good
bothers
point,
you?
but-
Because
okay.
if you don't like,
Then you can
if
lose
you're
your sense of
sensitive
touch,
to
I guess.
textures,
And
then
like, let's get rid of it.
oh heck no. I
Bite your tongue.
Oh,
be a hard
yeah,
time
you
swallowing.
kill yourself. probably.
There have been studies where like people like almost have like no like
Right.
nerve
Yeah.
receptors
You
and
don't notice when
touch
you cut
and
yourself.
Well, and it's super,
Right.
like, to
It's
be,
dangerous.
like, I feel like it would be
Super
different
dangerous.
to, like, have it as an adult, to, like, voluntarily give up your sense of touch, but, like, they've done a lot of studies for, like, children who are, like, born without, like, pain receptors, or, like, with, like, damaged nervous systems, and, like, it's straight up dangerous for a
Yeah.
child
Right.
not to be able to feel the world. Like, sometimes children are stupid, but sometimes, like, they just, like, they'll go and they'll, like, let me, like, touch this hot thing, let me stick my
This is
finger in
true.
the socket, and, like,
See what
it's like,
happens.
child, no, but, like,
Yeah.
if you're not there to, like, physically, like, grab them and pull them away from it, or, like, if they fall off the playground and they don't hurt afterwards, like, I have no doubt that if, like, children didn't get hurt frequently, like, they would continue to do the stupid stuff, it's like, I'm not gonna go and dangle myself from the top of the swings anymore, because last time I did that, it hurt, and like,
It is
you
thrilling,
don't
though.
have that, then all you have is the thrill of, like, being taller than yourself,
Yeah.
and then, like, it's just, touch is too important.
Okay. Well, we have two tastes so far. Very good. Please, Will.
I'll go
ahead.
with smell. I'm surprised.
Oh.
Everybody, I was like, oh gosh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
be the
really
fifth
thought-
person to pick smell. So I'll be the first one to pick it. Because it really was a process of elimination. I was like, one of my biggest fears is to be blind. I would never give that up. And being deaf would also not be too much better. Because they always say, actually, too, I think, it's easier if you were born not deaf or blind to become blind than deaf. I think I've read somewhere, which
I don't know.
is a surprise to me, but I guess there are just so many sounds in the world and
Sure.
whatnot. I wouldn't want to be deaf. I touched, and like you were saying, it's dangerous, because I know the people joke, man, I wish I didn't feel pain. It's like, yeah, but that's a dangerous game you're playing, you know? And also, like, I like physical interactions and whatnot, so, like, that'd be gone. So it's between taste and smell. I do like food too much. I feel like knowing myself, if I couldn't taste food, I wouldn't eat a whole lot. I feel like it would just feel like a chore, because I don't like drinking water, because it just feels like a chore, honestly. That sounds terrible, yeah.
You pass the
But you know what I mean? Yeah, past the water. But, like, you know what I mean? It feels like a chore. So I feel like I would be about 120 pounds and just sitting there like a stick. So I'll say smell.
Well, if I could point out too, hydration is really important. So
You really should.
It's the
drink
flavor.
water.
It's the flavored water, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I flavor the water.
actually,
Put a little flavoring on that.
I'm going to follow up on what you said though too, because I've always been hard of hearing, and it's getting worse as I get older. So I had years of speech therapy because I didn't say my R's appropriately, and they still sound the same to me, but I'm apparently saying them properly now. It's when you're young and you have, because everybody wants to have nothing that's different about them when you're a kid. But so I didn't like it then. But as I get older, the ability to tune things out is a absolute blessing. And
Selective hearing.
Selective hearing. And so I've lived in the country where everything's very quiet. And so I don't know that, and I can hear buses and stuff, so I don't get run over. But I think that as someone who's heading towards deafness, I think it's not the worst possible outcome.
Yeah, I think about that with when I was thinking about, because for me it's very much a process of elimination as well, but I think for me the metric that I use is more based off of pleasure and happiness in life, because I feel like there are so many resources and systems available in the world to help you cope if you are missing some sense,
Sure.
if you're missing something.
And it's getting better every day with helping people who do miss things.
So I feel like whatever I was missing for safety reasons, I would be able to figure out some alternative to make sure that I wasn't dying,
Sure.
But I think that the big thing that I would lose is I think about how with vulnerability and openness, that is the key to intense pain, but also to intense happiness. And you can't really shut off the things that you don't like without shutting yourself off to the things that you do. And so I feel like I thought about that in terms of the different senses and was what do I feel like the pros outweigh the cons, or the cons outweigh the pros on, of what do I just not enjoy, what has the more likelihood of me just when sad and miserable than me being happy, and I feel like at the end of the day that is also smell. I feel like we take for granted when it smells pleasant or just not bad in a place that you're at, and I very rarely I'm wow, the world just smells really good today. And I think that's partly because I don't smell things. But even people around me, I've never even when people are stop and smell the roses, I'm no one cares. No one cares about the roses. I feel like the closest I've ever come to seeing people be really happy about a good smell is when my girlfriends talk about cologne and a guy's cologne, and I've not experienced that too many times because I just don't smell. But that's the best example I can come up with of smell being a actual positive thing.
But there's a huge industry in people selling scented candles. That was the whole thing in wasn't it Jan on The Office that she had her scented candle company and they were overwhelmingly bad smells. But so far we have what, 2 taste, 2 smell, and a hearing. So, Maddy, you're up.
Oh boy, I feel like I'm the deal breaker.
You are. Or you could just
I
throw
go
the
with,
whole
like-
system and say like,
Lose
Psych.
your vision.
I don't want to see
and like,
anymore.
and boom, I can't see. Actually, no, I'm gonna go with big shocker here, smell.
Okay.
Because I
Wait.
started off with the whole shots thing, but I don't know. I just feel like smell doesn't have like a huge effect on taste, and I'm a big taste girl. I'm a Taurus, so like food is really important, and it's just how it is. I was born this way. But no, I just enjoy the taste of things far too much.
Sure.
And I'm a texture person as it is, where like some textures really bother me. So I think even if I lost my sense of taste, I would still be like hit with those textures
Sure.
regardless. So I'm like, and I just enjoy eating so much. Like it is a huge shocker that I am not like 200 plus pounds, because I eat more than I should, for sure.
Yeah. Well, since we're not going to shoot a video about this, if you had to give up a food that's your favorite food.
Oh, it's my favorite food?
Yeah.
Don't do
Well,
this.
I'm gonna go. No, actually, I recently just gave up one of my favorite foods, so this is actually really applicable. I don't eat
Sure.
red meat anymore, and steaks are my absolute favorite. Like, I am a Midwestern
Yeah.
girl, and I like my steaks. But I don't eat them anymore because
It's cruel.
It's cruel, and not only that, but like cattle farming is like really bad for the environment and like all this stuff. So I'm just like trying to like do one little good thing in this world, I guess.
Since Zach and I are both vegetarians, we are morally superior to people who aren't.
Yeah. And we'll probably live longer.
You know, if
Less
that's
likely to
what
get
gets you
cancer.
through the day. But yeah, but then also with the red meat, the cholesterol, and so it's like
You
Delicious.
see, the other thing though is I feel like I
also
would be more
butter.
Oh, butter is amazing too.
I feel like I'd be
Please.
more willing to give up my sense of taste, like if I were in my late 30s or like anywhere beyond that. Because basically, the way I see it is like, as a young person with metabolism and like a relatively like abusable body, like
Sure.
young people can just bounce back from things. You know, like you
You're
like
resilient.
you
That's
break
true.
your arm, like you'll heal, it'll be fine. You break your arm when you're 60, like you're kind of fucked for a minute,
Right.
you know.
Okay.
Well,
Beep.
It's red band now.
it had to happen eventually.
Demonetized.
There it goes.
No, we'll edit that or we'll bleep it. But
Okay.
go ahead.
Anyway,
Censored.
you're kind of not okay for a
Sure.
minute if you're 60. So I feel like at this point in time, like I just like don't really care what like my health is in terms of food, because I'm like, this is the only time in my entire life that I will be able to eat what I want with like little consequences.
Right.
You know, like eventually I will have to like be healthier and like care about my sugar intake. But
Right.
like for now, at this moment, like I can still recover from the damage that I'm doing.
Right.
So like it's all good. And I feel like that would just be so much to give up because I only have it for so long, you know?
Yeah, I think about that a lot, because the only reason why I eat healthy and work out now is because I'm doing it for my future self.
Yeah, right?
I'm not doing it because I don't need it now, but like I'm like, if I don't start these habits now, if I don't do this now, I'm gonna wake up 35 and 300 pounds. Like,
Right.
it's gonna happen. Like people are gonna have to roll me out the door. So like I really like that. That's why I have to, be on top of this stuff now, so that like all of a sudden I like don't wake up one day and be like,
Right.
I'm past the point of like helping myself.
This is getting off topic, but
Yeah. You're right.
as a I'm going to get off topic. As a lifelong runner, I can tell you life is better. As someone who's physically active, food tastes better, experiences are better, etc. I would also say that if you are interested in losing one of your senses, take up smoking, because you will lose your sense of taste. That's why they put a ton of salt and pepper and everything else, and then if you give it to a child, they're like, "Blah, this is way too much flavor." So those are the senses that we're willing to give up. But we'd like you to leave a comment on the sense that you would be willing to part with. And so we'd also like you to like this video and subscribe, comment, and have a great day. And thank you.
never know what camera to look at the end.
I know. Me neither. I'm just trying to get those words right.